Good morning, people. I've been asked to create a timeline for people as to what happened to me back in 2004. I'm Dan Cooper, I'm 39 years of age, I live in Norfolk, and I've been sharing my journey on TikTok around a historic rape case that I was the victim of, but I'm not a survivor. I'm not doing this for validation of feelings, I'm doing this to help spread awareness of rape, male rape especially, because it's not commonly talked about, and I've had a number of people come forward and state that my content has helped them. This is an emotive subject, and I understand that some people will become quite affected by what they hear. Quite often it's people that haven't dealt with it themselves, and I would strongly recommend people to get professional help in this instance. On the 22nd of May 2004, I was raped. And it wasn't a nice experience, obviously. On the 1st of June, I was then admitted to hospital with suspected appendicitis. They went in, ripped my appendix out, and they said it was only partially inflamed, which generally means that, yes, there was a little infection there, but there's other stuff that's causing your blood, your markers, and everything else to go up. And in this case, they decided that it was appendicitis, hence the reason for it. But looking back at it, and everyone looking back at it, it was probably constituted by the rape and the sexual assault that took place. I then spent quite a bit of time in hospital. I was in hospital the 1st to the 4th of June, 19th to the 6th of June, 6th of July, 23rd to the 31st of July, which spanned the whole of that summer. The one person that supported me during this was my mum. They didn't know what was wrong with me. They could not find out whatsoever. My abdomen was out there, I couldn't eat, couldn't drink. I lost a lot of weight. I think I went down to about 68 kilos, if I remember rightly, from my medical file, and that was pretty tough. Once I finally was discharged, on the 8th of September, my wound came out, and it came out quite severely. It looked like I was almost giving birth to an alien. This wound then popped. You can see how deep it is. It exploded. And that was because of a mass infection within it. That wasn't much fun at all. That had to be packed. The case was reported to the police in 2004. However, I wasn't strong enough to go up and stand trial at that time. July 2008, oh God, almost fell. I started work as a prison officer within the prison service. Absolutely loved that job. 2015, 2016, I was then assaulted by a prisoner to the point that I was knocked unconscious and I didn't feel well. The only other time I'd been assaulted in this way or treated in this way was when I was subjected to the rape. I couldn't cope with the flashbacks. I attended therapy, I had CBT therapy, and it didn't help. In July 2018, I then went into jury service. That jury service was a historic sexual assault case. That was pretty tough to deal with. It's pretty tough to hear, especially when you've struggled with something like that yourself, and you haven't dealt with it, and you haven't dealt with it properly. So post this, I decided that I would go back to the police. So in July 2018, it was re-reported, well, it was re-reported before that. July 2018 was when the first police interview was conducted that they recorded, and that was what was played to the courtroom. I also had to do a second one, and that was around September 2021. On the 10th of November 2023, yes, that was from 2018 to 2023, my case finally went to court. At the end of that trial, the person was found guilty of 2 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. With any court case, I was just the witness to this. It's not me that takes the individual to court, it is the state. It is then a jury that makes their mind up, whether with the evidence that they're presented, whether a person is guilty or not guilty. In February of 2024, the person was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Since that, there has been an appeal at the Royal Court of Appeals. There has been something submitted to the Criminal Case Review Commissioner. They've all been thrown out, and the person is still serving their 8-year sentence. I want people to feel that it is okay and acceptable to speak out about historic sexual offences that have taken place, as well as recent ones as well, as well as ones that have just happened. But make sure you talk and get the support early on. It is really, really important. I wish that I had done this far sooner. But in 2004, the world was a very, very different place. I will not go into intricate details of the incident that took place. That is not right, it's not fair, and that should not be put out on any form of social media platform. My journey on TikTok has been immense so far, and I will continue to help people for as long as I can. And I just want to thank everyone for listening so far. I do apologise that this is a 6-minute video, but I feel that that timeline will help people, especially with the questions that I've recently been asked. I have landed up with formal diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder relating to it, potentially emotionally unstable personality disorder, which is related to that as well. The incident happened when I was 19, and that potentially stopped me from developing into the human that I was meant to be, or the person that I was meant to be. But it is what it is. We have to turn them negatives into positives, and we have to help and support one another.